Okay, so in this video, we'll be looking at how we can secure our FTP server. So this is a continuation from how we can install and configure a ProFTPD server. So if you've not yet installed the ProFTPD server, I suggest you do so. You can look at the previous video where I show how to install ProFTPD, or you can go to the website and follow through pretty much the same tutorial but in text form. So here we will be making our ProFTPD server a secure server. Okay, so this will make us use secure file transfer protocol, and what makes it secure is the fact that it will be encrypting the transmission rather than sending it in a plain text fashion, which is important for security. So encryption will be used, and because we'll use encryption, then it means we need to generate SSL certificates, self-sign them, and then compile the ProFTPD daemon to be able to use OpenSSL. It's also important to note that SFTP uses port 22, so port 22 rather than port 20 and 21, because that's the one that that has encryption. Okay, so we'll go straight into our program, our virtual machine, so that we can begin the process. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to install, if you haven't already, you need to install mod SSL. Okay, so I already have it, so you should say yum install mod SSL -y, and then you should go ahead and install it. So I already have it installed, so I won't run this command, but you should download it. Then after you install it, make sure that there's no ProFTPD instance running. So you can just check, you can say ps-aux grep ProFTPD. Okay, make sure that it's not running, like the way mine shows it's not running. If it is running, if it's accepting connections, you should first of all stop it by ending the process. So that's how you do it. So you say qo-9 ProFTPD, then that will stop it from running. Again, you can go through the screenshots over on the website if you're having trouble, if I'm moving too fast in the video. Then go ahead and create a directory where we'll be storing our certificates and private key. Okay, now ideally you need to store them somewhere where they will not be tampered with, right? So in this case for me, I've put them in user local etc SSL, so that's where I'm going to create them. Then once you create that folder, you can then go ahead. First of all, I'll jump inside that folder. Okay, it's fine. Even if I don't jump in, I can actually just output the key and the certificate directly to that. So I'll say OpenSSL. This command will only work if you installed mod SSL. So OpenSSL req -new then -x509, which is the structure for SSL certificates. It's the structure to how we install the information about the certificate. Then the 360 days in terms of how long we're going to keep it. Okay, how long it will be valid, how long the certificate should be used. So we normally give it around a year. And then we also want to make sure that the private key itself should be protected with a passphrase. Okay, so use that. And then we can output, so to the directory user local etc ssl ftp.cert.pem. Okay, so that's for the certificate. And then for the key, so we'll say key out -key out, and then inside the same directory, user local etc ssl, then we'll call it ftp.key.pem. Okay, so this is going to ask us for some information. Country code in 2 letters. So say ZM, then your state or province, then your city, and then the company, and then the branch in the company or the organization or unit, the department, the domain name, so say spreadsheet.tech, then the email address, okay, so this should create that. So we should check if the certificate and the private key have been created, even though the certificate, let me first of all verify that both of the files are in there. So user local etc ssl. Okay, so we see that both the ftp.cert.pem and the ftp.key.pem are present. Okay, so if they're present, then it's successfully created them. So we can then go ahead and recompile ProFTPD. So again, this is why I said this assumes that you've already downloaded ProFTPD and you've installed it using sources. So if you've downloaded it, so like for me, I think my download folder is in roots downloads. So I think if I check inside here, I'll see that my ProFTPD folder is there. So I'll enter the ProFTPD folder, the one that's extracted. Okay. If you haven't installed ProFTPD, you'd have to go through the process of first of all installing it, because there are some steps of installing ProFTPD that I won't do here, particularly when it comes to anonymous user access. So unless if you just want to make it a secure server without anonymous access, then you can follow through this tutorial. But here I won't show how to download ProFTPD and extract it, but I'll go straight to after we've extracted the folder, and then we are now about to enter the extracted directory. Okay, so we enter the directory that's extracted, and then inside here we need to recompile the ProFTPD daemon. We recompile it the same way we do it when we are just installing it normally, but the only difference is that we need to enable SSL. So first of all, we run the .configure script. So we say .configure -- enable shadow -- enable auto shadow. Okay, so this is the normal way of installing it. Then if we want to include the SSL module, we then say -- enable - open SSL. Then we'll say with - open SSL with the - with open SSL, okay, -cmd line equals user bin open SSL. Okay, then the module with modules mod TLS. Oh my god. So with modules mod TLS. Okay, so you recompile it. Okay, so this is first of all going to run the configuration script, and then just going to make sure that mod SSL and open SSL are part of the configuration when compiling. So just wait for it to finish. Okay, since it's taking a little bit of time, so for those that maybe have not downloaded ProFTPD, that maybe are just coming in fresh. So you could have downloaded ProFTPD from proftpd.org. Just get the latest version, and then you can download the zip file, so the gzip file. Then once you download it, locate it. It's probably going to be in your user. So if you are using a less privileged user, to be the home directory, then the username, then downloads, unless if you specified some other location. If you are using the root user, like I'm using, then it's going to be in this location. So once you know the location, go to the location, like in this case, cd root downloads. Then once you are in there, you can then go ahead to extract it. You can say tar xf and then the name of the ProFTPD zip file. Then it will extract. Then you can definitely proceed. So that's for those that haven't downloaded ProFTPD, but like I said, this tutorial assumes that you've downloaded it and have already installed it. So if you haven't, you can follow the previous tutorial. Okay, so now here it's done running the configuration script. So since it's done running the configuration script, we can then say make to compile the ProFTPD daemon. So when we say make, it's actually compiling. So to compile with those options. Then once it's done, we can say make install. Okay, make install. Maybe let me just clear so that if it's not showing properly, say make install. Okay, so then this is going to install the ProFTPD daemon. Okay, so now after it installs, so firstly we just make sure that the proftpd.conf user local proftpd.conf, we'll make sure that the proftpd.conf first of all should have the correct username and group. So here, if it has a different username and group, you can make sure that it has a user and group that exist. Okay, that exists. So it shouldn't be saying nobody, especially on the group. Then you can create an if module, mod TLS section like this, normally under the anonymous section. And then the important things that you should do is, so if you say if module, mod TLS c.c, and then TLS engine should be on, TLS log, so this is where the log files will be stored, and then you should put the protocol, so TLS protocol, as you can say TLS version 1.2, which is a bit newer, and then the certificate file, you need to make sure that you point to the one that we generated, so user local etc ssl ftp.cert.pem, and then same thing for the certificate key. So for the certificate key, user local etc ssl ftp.key.pem. all right, and then you can say TLS verify client, so here we'll say off, and then TLS required is going to be on. So the only reason we won't be verifying the client is because the certificate itself is a self-signed certificate, so we will not be able to verify it against the certificate authority. Okay, so once you make those changes inside the proftpd.conf, you can then save the file, and then you can install a new FTP client. So unfortunately, the FTP client, so if you try to connect, let's say FTP 127.0.0.1, it will not be able to work, right? It will not be able to work. So that's because the normal FTP client just uses port 20 and 21, so it can't connect over port 22. So because of that, we need to first of all install a new FTP client. So we say yum install LFTP. Okay, so you just install LFTP. So LFTP is an FTP client that is meant to allow access even if you are using a different port number, if you're using secure FTP. So mine's already installed. I won't let it finish here, so I'll just cancel it. So if you have it already installed, then that's fine. But if you don't have it installed, you should say yum install LFTP-y. Then to access the service, firstly make sure that ProFTPD is running. So just type ProFTPD. Okay, press enter. Then that should start it. You can verify that it's running by checking the processes psaux grep ProFTPD, and then just verify that it's actually accepting connections. So like this here, you can see that it's accepting connections. So if it's accepting connections, then you are able to connect to it. So you can connect to it by saying LFTP, and then you can put your domain name, your host name, or your IP address. In this case, since I'm running it locally, so I'll just say 127.0.0.1. If you're connecting from another machine, make sure that port 22 is open on the firewall. Okay, if you're connecting from another machine. Then when we try to connect using LFTP, we need to set how the connection should be made. So say set FTP passive mode true. Here we just want to make sure that we remove the common errors that it will face, and then also make sure that SSL is used throughout the entire transmission. We also want to make sure that the certificates, it shouldn't verify the certificate that it receives against any CA, against any certificate authority. So say certificate no. So verify certificate no. Okay. Let's see. No certifiable use. Oh, I think I made a mistake here. So it's supposed to be set SSL verify certificate no. Set SSL verify certificate no, not set FTP. Then we can say connect. Then you can connect to the server's IP address or domain name, the server that has the ProFTPD service running. In this case, it's running locally, so that's why I'm saying 127.0.0.1. Okay, then you can log in as a specific user. So here I'm logging into TeachMat because I've already set up the TeachMat user. When I was installing it normally, I had set up a TeachMat user as a user for FTP. So in this case, you can log in as whatever account you want, right? I'm just logging into TeachMat. Then you put the password. Then, okay, so if you say ls, it should be able to list the contents that user has. So that means that you're able to connect properly, securely, and that the FTP server is over an encrypted connection. So that's pretty much all that I had for you. Like this video. If you have any trouble, you can leave a comment, or you can also follow through the process over on the website so that you read through, see the screenshots. Here some of the things like LFTP, they were already installed, and yeah, so you can definitely just check and make sure that everything is working okay.